Welcome, Micro Niece and Niecemus Prime, to Age of Wonders Shadow Magic. This is not Crusader Kings 2. I promised I would do that for you, but the mod broke that I was going to use, and the modder hasn't fixed it yet, which is because there's holidays going. So I decided to do this instead, which does have the advantage of allowing each of you to be a princess at the same time. So let's start with making a wizard for Lydia. She's blonde and likes horses and dogs, and so obviously she's going to be an elf. Blonde and tall and likes horses and dogs. Wants to be a vet when she grows up, so clearly she's going to be an elf. Oh, we've already got start race for the elves here. How handy. We'll make her a life specialist. She'll be able to get all the spells in the life situation. These are the kind of units that she'll end up with. For all things of holy and pure, wizards of the life sphere exist. Life magic typically pertains to the protection, restoration, and salvation of the living. Skills give special bonus to your wizard and his or her empire. Beneficial skills are listed in green, while harmful skills are listed in red. Basically what this does is it allows you to pick one or maybe two, if you pick a bad skill also, that you will be starting the game out with. But you can research all of the green skills here eventually. Consequently, Scholar is really the best thing to start with. It means that all spells cost 20% less research points. So you can get all the other stuff sooner. Obviously, we're going to be the elves. Or Lydia is going to be the elves. Elves are immortal, living a life without end. These delicate and graceful beings are the elders of this world. Elves have close ties to nature and life. They love music, lore, and dance, but are solitary beings, preferring to seek their pleasures far from the prying eyes of the world. When intruders come to their forest, they seldom escape, and those who are taken from an elven forest, after having dwelt among elves, often die of broken hearts and unspoken remorse. Elves employ stealth, speed, and cunning to strike their foes. They're masters of fairy magic and readily gather the powers of magic, instilling it in all that they touch. It means you're going to generate magic. Here we go with Lydia and some horses. The game is stretched out somewhat to fit the screen. This was an older game that was meant to be used on a screen that's 4x3, so on a wide screen it stretches out somewhat. That's why you look a little wide here. Lydielf. The other wizards in the game have already chosen their colors, which is a little annoying, but you can be white. Now it's time to put Claire into the game. Claire likes to swim, and she likes to be also involved in crafting things, including with clay. So I'm going to let her be both water and earth, which means she needs to multi-class. You won't be as strong as you could possibly be in either of those, but you'll get to cast spells from both of them, and you'll get all of the Cosmos level spells. Okay, here we go. There are 6 spheres available. Lydia got all 6 in life. As a multi-classer, you can only get 4 maximum in any one thing, and you've got 6 to work with. I'm going to give you even amounts, 3 in water, 3 in earth. In your case, because you're going to be playing the halflings and they really benefit from having extra spells thrown on them to buff them up, you definitely want to be a casting specialist. No, excuse me, an enchanter. Enchant unit spells require 20% less to throw and 20% less research points. However, it is handy to be able to research things, not just all things, not just enchantment spells. And the halflings are good at generating money, so I'm going to give you Decadent. Decadence. This means that your units are going to require more upkeep, more cash to keep going. But that way you can also be a scholar. An enchanter, a decadent enchanter scholar. Besides, you're a clothes horse. I like to spend money on those clothes. Being a short little red-haired type, I figured you should be the halflings, since you look kind of like a leprechaun. Here's Claire, and we will call her Enclar. A nice blue background. Lydielf. On day 1, it's your turn. There you are, dropping into the world. It's a large and busy world. You and Claire are going to be dropping in on a set of elves, in your case. A pack of elves with a nice pioneer. And 2 heroes, Chucky and Proton, will be joining you to begin with. We'll take a look at them in a minute. You've also got a little bit of protection from an elven scout. He's a minor cavalry unit. A longbowman, and a glade runner. The pioneer will be making a city somewhere for you, or a settlement anyway. Here's a nice road. Might be a good idea to go check out the road. We'll let our glade runner go first and see if there's anything interesting up here that we need to worry about. Oh, there's already oh, there's a farm up there. Nice. This seems like a good place to make our settlement, but maybe we'll scout up just a little bit further this way. Nice. Being near the arena is good. We'll see if we can't start near in that area. Can I get there? Yep. And we've got a road network going off this direction already. Let's try building an outpost here. Excellent. We shall call your outpost... Well, you were born over in Bennington, in the hills of Kentucky. Bentonville, actually, is where you were born. So we'll do Bentonville. We can always change it later if you decide you'd rather have it something else. Gosh, there's just some gold lying out here. There's an item on the ground. It's a frost shield. Nice. Only you and your heroes can do items. I don't want to use up any of your magic right now. In fact, it's too far away. You've only got 20 magic points. You've got no magic points, actually. You have no mana. You're getting 15 a turn, but you haven't generated any yet. These are your casting points. Well, we'll just send somebody up there to capture him. Can't quite get there next, but that's okay. Let's take a look at your heroes. This is Protan. Protan is an expert at nutrient retrieval for the hive. He served a dozen decades faithfully in the mines of the Shadow World. Unlike most of his kind, he could scale the sheerest fissures attempting to get any nugget of resource for his masters with perfect diligence. He was sent among the first scouting parties into the Blessed Continent to catalog the mineral resources for the hive, at which point he made his break from a life of slavery. He will do anything for his people, allying with any race willing to stand against the shadow demons and give the Siron people a chance at life in the light of a free world. So that kind of tells you a little bit of the story of what's going to be happening here. The Blessed Continent is being invaded by demons from the Shadow Realm, and they have enslaved these Sirons, who are generally good people, kind of like elves from the Shadow Realm, bringing some of them along. This was one of them, and he has escaped, and he has become a ranger and working for you. So, he's good at walking on the mountains. That's nice. That means he doesn't need... mountains usually block travel, but you can move him over mountains. He can spellcast a little bit too, and he's got Vision 1, which means it allows him to see further. We definitely want to keep him around, so I'm going to select him and send him up here to pick up this shield. Notice it says party leaves your domain. The domain is the area around you yourself, currently. It's the area in which you can cast spells, basically, and have them affect people in your group. Protan's going to pick up the Frost Shield. This will allow him cold protection and allows him to survive a little bit longer in a fight. I see some mana crystals just lying out on the ground. Let's go get some. We'll send our longbowman over to pick it up. Elves are naturally skilled archers. Experienced elven longbowmen are considered magicians to all who wield the bow. Stories abound of them skewering multiple targets with a single shot, and of deflecting the arrows of an enemy with their own. Whether exaggerated or not, there can be no doubt that if your armor has a single weak point, an elven archer can find it. He's got forestry, so he can walk around in the woods without any penalty. And he's better at shooting than most people. He's got marksmanship 1. So we'll just send him over here. Picked up 30 mana crystals and sent them back. Can he get to the gold? Not quite. We'll put him into the trees here. Oh, there's some more mana over here. He can go pick that up. Here's our scout. Elves typically deploy mounted scouts instead of heavy cavalry. Elven scouts are trained to move quickly even through dense forests. Armed with light lances, elven scouts are very capable of defending themselves, but would not stand up to a heavily armored cavalry such as that of the orcs. If they can attack while on the move, the increased speed of their charge makes them even more deadly. How far can you go? Can you go? Yes, you can. We'll go grab that. Just gold lying out on the ground. Look at all this riches. Next turn we'll have you go down here. This is Chucky. Chucky was a content halfling, so he's a halfling rogue. But he's good. Happy to work the land and feed his sheep. One day a shadow spawn decided to snack on Chucky's flock. Chucky fled into a haystack and watched as the creature shredded his livestock and mangled his favorite sheepdog. Clearly the creature had no respect for animals, and Chucky, being healthy farm stock, began to throw rocks at the thing. To his surprise, he slew the creature. He ran to his dog, knitting it near, and cradled its broken body in his arms and cried. He buried it under a fern that turned red in the fall. Chucky took this as a sign that his beloved pooch was really rather upset from being torn limb from limb. Riled up more than normal for a halfling, he set off to slay more of the shadow creatures. Having grown up on a farm, Chucky has somewhat colorful language, being well versed in how to coax a donkey. He can use his farming metaphors to enrage most intelligent creatures. Nifty. How far can he go? Can he get up here? Yes, he can. Go pick up that gold, Chuck. How far more can you go? That's it for you. You are going to meanwhile go into your little outpost. Bentonville. Population 35. At this rate, you will grow into a city in 17 turns. Bentonville can produce glade runners. You've got one of those already, but that's all it can do. Glade runners are the elven infantry, trained to protect their forest homes with their lives. Their culture considers every elven life precious, so glade runners are trained to strike quickly and then retreat back to the safety of the deep forest. When the frustrated enemy has given up pursuit and cursed them as cowards, the runners return to strike again. The more brutish races scoff at the perceived dishonor of these tactics, but to an elf, the greatest dishonor is a pointless death. He's pretty weak, but he can conceal himself. The elves like living on this terrain, so they get a bonus to happiness. And as a race, they add a little bit of extra mana every turn, simply by existing. The outpost here can't do much. They can produce glade runners and a wooden wall if necessary. That's probably not a bad idea. They can produce merchandise and also housing, or we can loot the place and raise it, which is not a good idea. It's hard to gauge at this moment how much danger we're in. We can see up here we do have a tunnel. This connects the surface and the underground worlds. So you see over here there's a map. This is how big the map is compared to us from where we are right now. There's also an underground map that big, which we know nothing about, and a shadow map this big, which we know nothing about. Things could come up out of the shadow area here, out of the underground here. Elves don't do so well underground. So we should probably leave this alone for now. Here's Lydielf. She's got no gear yet. We don't know anything about her because that's you. You can see she's really quite powerful to start with. She's immune to holy damage if the damage is of a holy type. That's because she's good. She has a magic strike that can shoot from a distance. She walks where she goes, and she has willpower, so the enemy can't control her. We don't know of any other people on the board. I mean, you and I know that there's going to be another wizard on the board here soon. That's Claire. I have set things up so that y'all can win together as allies, which we will definitely try to do, but until you find her, you won't be able to ally with her. We don't know what the other wizards are. Even I don't know. They were chosen randomly. Some of them might help you, some of them might not. And next time we'll see what happens when Claire arrives. When it will be then her turn of doom. Doom, 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 doom. Amen, 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 amen,